Starting a new project often begins with a blank page, which can be the slowest part of the process. Today, we're at a point where Google Docs can help you create a comprehensive document in seconds. In this video, we'll use the example of building a 2026 YouTube strategy to show how Gemini can draft, refine, and summarize your ideas. You'll see exactly how to move from a raw thought to a professional, easy to navigate document. So let's dive in. The first place we'll start is to open up a Google Docs itself. And when you do that, the first thing you'll be presented is with this AI assistant here. So you can generate a document. There's a few different templates you can choose from here. You can also go to this bit here, help me write, and that'll bring up a prompt box where you can enter in a prompt and it will start writing for you. You can also generate some meeting notes. Here you can see a bit of a preview of what that looks like. And then there's also this more tab, which will open up a section over here where there's more templates. So you can choose from these different versions here. So just to show you, here's a few examples of some different templates you can create. And you can also describe the document down here, what you want to create. You can also go help me write and enter in the prompt here. So you can see job offer letter is something that pops up as an example, or description of a new line of teddy bears. So there's some options that you can use. Today, what we're going to use is the Gemini icon up here. So when we open up this will bring up this prompt box over here. And then there's a few different settings we can access within here as well. If you haven't seen my video on Google Gems and how they work, I'll link to that above now so you can get a bit of a background on that. So what we're going to do is click into here, and I'm going to use the YouTube example gem. So this is a gem, or you can think of it as an agent that assists me very specifically in this example as a YouTube expert. And that's been grounded in some links and data that we're going to use as part of this example. So I'm going to use this gem, and it'll be tailored very specifically towards what we're trying to achieve in creating this document. So we've got our document, we've got it grounded in the YouTube example gem. They're a YouTube specialist. And then we're going to pop in this prompt. As a YouTube specialist, I want to know what the best practice is on how to launch and succeed as a YouTube channel in 2026. And I was going to reference all of the source material that I've added into that via Notebook LM. Again, if you haven't used Notebook LM yet, I'll link to that now at the top so you can watch that afterwards as well. And now it's referencing all of those sources, and it's coming up with a framework of how you could succeed as a YouTube channel in 2026. So that will write all of that document for you. And you can see here it's in American English rather than British English. So that's something we could also tell it to update. And now it's finished writing that. Down here we can see insert. So when we click on that, it will now insert that as a document. And we can review that to see if there's anything we disagree with or anything that we want to update. And as a first start, this is pretty good, but it might be that it comes out and it's a bit ambiguous, it's a bit jargony. So what we can do, we can get the YouTube gem to be a bit more focused, and we want it to be a bit more educational in tone, a bit more for a beginner audience. We don't want it to be using overly convoluted language. So we'll get it to update the language in this document. And it's a bit more relatable for the audience that we're aiming it to. And I've just removed the text on the left here, and we can go insert, and it's inserted that updated version that's a bit more relatable for our beginners audience. So the next thing I want to do is, it's a really good document, but I want a really good introduction, like an executive summary. So again, can you act as if you're briefing a senior team, and we want to add in an executive summary at the start. So we'll just make space for that on the left-hand side, and the Gemini gem will now create that executive summary for us. The Gemini itself has come up with a really nice executive summary for us that summarizes that for someone who just wants the high-level overview before reading the document itself, to make sure that the information pertains to them and is relevant. Another thing that we can do, we can get Gemini to create an infographic or any kind of graphic for us that might be relevant to the document. So for this bit, I want to create an infographic of this section here. So in the prompt, I'm just going to ask it to create an infographic and then paste it in the section that I want to base the infographic on. And then down here with the tools, you can click Create Images. And then when I post this prompt, it will then start creating an infographic based on this section here that I've asked it to create it on. And then down here, we've got this really nice infographic that we can have a quick look at to see what it looks like. So it's pulled out that text, and for people that are a bit more visual, These graphics then help to visualize what it looks like rather than looking at a wall of text in a paragraph. So we can then insert that. And again, you can adjust this. You can change the prompt. You can put it into different styles as well. You could even ask it to do it in Japanese anime or cartoon style. So think about the audience that's going to receive this document and what they might relate to best. And the last thing I want to do, now we've got our finalized document, I want Gemini to give me a hand with creating an email that I can send out to my colleagues and the team so that they can thoroughly digest this and come up with some questions that we can answer at the next team meeting. So based on this content, Gemini will now create that email for me so that I can use that in a draft email to my colleagues. So it'll tell you the plan, what it's working through, and here's the draft email. So I can pop that into my Gmail and then I can send that out to the team. Gemini in Google Docs demonstrates that we're no longer limited by the manual effort of drafting long documents on our own. By using Gemini in Docs, you can reduce the low value, repeatable tasks so that you can focus on higher value work. If this helped you, subscribe for more weekly deep dives, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter in the description below. I'll also link up here on how you can automate some of your workflows using Google Workspace Studio. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.